everybody, this is Stacy Rossetti, and I am back again with another badass woman here. And I want to introduce Jess to you guys, and she's going to get into all the reasons why she's a badass. She's a badass lady. All right, so introduce yourself today, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Jess Lenouvel. I'm the owner and founder of a company called The Listings Lab. And basically what we do is we help real estate agents go from 6 to 7 figures by creating relationships at scale. Now, the methodology that we use really it works in a lot of different business aspects, but I mean, my background is in selling real estate, so that's what I do because it's what I know. I was a realtor myself for 14 years before I made this switch. I grew up in the industry. Mom's been a real estate agent for 35 years. So it's kind of all I know.
That's all you know. So, okay, so get into real fast before we get into the listing stop, get into like, who are you?
Yeah. So I'm 37. I'm extremely introverted. I've actually kind of grown through that in the last couple of years out of necessity, but I'm Canadian, born in Toronto. My husband and I are actually moving to the Bahamas in January.
Why did you decide that?
So it's a combination of things. We have both always wanted to live in the tropics, just both of us individually. And then thank God we found each other, because what if I'd found somebody who wanted to live in like the Arctic? I don't know what would have happened.
Or like Canada.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. So, we've talked about it so much over the last couple of years. Our business is he works with me. Our business is 100% virtual. So we can technically work from anywhere. We chose the Bahamas because of proximity to family, especially my mom. I am the biggest mama's girl in the world.
Okay.
And time zone. Most of our, we have to be in a North American time zone. Otherwise, I'd probably live in Bali. And yeah, it was just, and it's, obviously tax friendly as well. So there was just kind of a combination of things that we were like, I feel like this is the place.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing too. We're actually headed over to Puerto Rico. Awesome. Just to see like if there's something that's something we want to do, but something in the Caribbean. Like we're getting to the point where it's like, we just got to have time. Yeah, you just got to have something down there. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So go on. What else? What are some interesting facts about you?
Yeah. So I'm definitely super introverted. When I got into the industry, there was this whole concept of cold calling and door knocking and flyers and billboards and farming and, all of these things. And I was 21 when I got my license. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to do any of these things. Like, this is not for me. And so I kind of had to figure out my own way. And, back then there was this brand new thing called Facebook that nobody really knew how to use properly. And so I started doing what I called prospecting from my PJs, where I would sit at home behind my computer screen and I would just build relationships and have conversations with people through Facebook classifieds, which is now Marketplace. But it was just one of those things that I just provided value and built relationships. And I'm not a pushy person. I'm not your typical salesperson. It just hasn't, that way of doing things has never really resonated with me. So it really just became, that's where my business grew from. And, I wasn't able to do the typical, rely on my friends and my family and my sphere, because my mom at that point had been in real estate for 20 years. And who were they going to choose? Were they going to choose me, who was 21 years old and brand new into the industry? Or were they going to work with my mom, who had more life experience, more real estate experience? We shared a sphere. So, I really had to figure out how to blaze my own path, and all of the information and the instruction that I was being given from my brokerage, from mentors, from people like that. I knew that I was never going to excel at those things. They just weren't me. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure out my own way. And so that's how I initially built my business. Then it grew from there. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, funnels, that kind of marketing really became the bread and butter. And we started doing it before everyone else was doing it, which allowed us to move faster and grab a bigger market share faster, because most of us know this, real estate for the most part is 5 years behind every other industry. So what we started doing and what we still do is we look outside of the real estate industry to figure out what's working in other service-based industries and how do we bring that into real estate and make it work here.
I notice it's like, I mean, in real estate, it's like they just don't do anything online.
It's so crazy, isn't it?
They do not utilize social media. And I keep telling everybody, because I'm a huge online marketer as well, too. Yeah. And I keep telling everybody, it's like, do you know how much opportunity you're missing out on?
I know. Well, and think about it this way, right? Every time you go to the grocery store, you're standing in a line somewhere. Unfortunately, husbands and wives and partners at dinner, where are they looking? They're not looking at each other. They're looking at their phones. Right? Everyone, like, if you see, I saw a meme a little while ago. He's about, how did it go? It was basically, I saw this guy today in a coffee shop and he was just sitting there. He wasn't on a phone. He wasn't on his computer. He was just sitting there drinking his coffee like a psychopath. Right? And it made me laugh because it's true. We're always glued to a screen of some sort and you look weird if you're not. Yeah. So why wouldn't you use that as a business tool?
I know, it's so weird. And so I think that's like going in, I was like, what is that guy doing? Just sitting with a cup of coffee? Who does that anymore?
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so basically you do online marketing for real estate agents. Mm-hmm. Tell us kind of like what's the listing stop and like what do you
so the listing, it's the listings lab. So basically what that is we use 3 different principles. So relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. And those are like kind of like our 3 key factors. And we help you build out not only your social media, but also all of your automated lead generation and nurturing. Everything that we do is geared around creating inbound clients. And I'm not just talking about like leads, right? So many agents will say, I need more leads. And my next question is, do you need more leads or do you need more clients? Because any old idiot, in my opinion, can generate a whole bunch of leads.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that's really not what people really want. They've just made this connection that they need, that it's a numbers game and they need more leads to have more clients. So everything that we do is based around human psychology and how to create relationships at scale. So how do you create a relationship, a connection, trust, like that whole idea of marketing, know, like, and trust? How do you do that in an automated way with many people at once? So many people in real estate teach one-to-one. Everything that we do is one-to-many. So how can we leverage and also make decisions in your business that are going to be unlimitedly scalable and also create a lot more ease and a lot more happiness in your business? So it's really about attracting the right people, repelling the people that you don't want to work with, and having people come to you basically saying, hey, I've seen your stuff. I'm ready to go. Come list my house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that and what I love about online marketing is that you can totally automate, and I'm just like you, I'm completely virtual. You can automate your business to be as virtual as you can get it, right? Just by doing like online marketing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just feel like you have to do the one-on-one. You have to go do, hand out your business cards and like talk to people.
Well, and that's why people hate realtors, is because they think, oh my gosh, this guy's in real estate. He's going to pitch me on something, or I'm going to end up with a card in my pocket, or, there's this sleazy salesperson aura that we all, seem to have following us around. And I really, truly believe that only about 10% of agents are actually really like that, mm-hmm. but they make the rest of us look really bad. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so
do you say like the realtors that are actually, like a lot of realtors that are doing well and successful in the business, they've scaled up? And the way they scale up is they know how to market themselves.
Well, there's a couple of things, right? Like they know how to market themselves. They're not so arrogant to think that they have to do everything themselves or that no one else can do it as well as they can. And so they've created leverage in their business. And, what that does, there's this mindset of, I have to do it myself to have it done well. And the truth really is then you become the bottleneck of your business. So the people who are truly successful in any business are people who actually know how to hire, how to manage, how to make business decisions that are good business decisions that are good for the business and also good for their clients.
I completely agree too. And I think it's all based on, and I think really people have an issue with delegating and they think like they just don't want to relinquish that control.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, I can do it better. I can do it better. Yeah. My husband is just like this. He's always like, get out of my way. I can do it, And yeah, you need to be able to just delegate that stuff off.
Well, okay. So there's this quote from Rockefeller that I've always loved. And it's something, I might butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, I would rather leverage 1% from 100 people than 100% from myself.
Exactly. I completely agree. I love it. That's awesome. So tell me, like, how does it work with y'all? Are y'all like, do you use like Infusionsoft or some back office?
No. So we 100% teach everyone to do everything right through Ad Manager. We don't use any third party anything if we can help it. Every once in a while for email automation and things like that, we have a couple different options. Agents love to use their CRM, so we help them integrate that way. But basically what the listings lab is it's not just, okay, we're going to take it and like copy and paste a bunch of templates and throw it into your accounts, because that doesn't work, right? Marketing nowadays, especially, has to be customized to you, to your market, and to the demographic of people that you want to work with. So what we do is we're teaching agents how to be really great digital marketers. Because when people get into real estate, they don't realize that there's two jobs. You can be the best agent, the best realtor in the world. And if you don't have clients, you have no one to help. So you have to be a marketer first before you get to actually be a really successful agent. They go hand in hand. And I think so many people just try to hand off the lifeblood of their business to someone who they don't even know if they're doing a good job or not, because they've never learned it themselves, right? And there's something irresponsible about that part of the business. If you wouldn't hand your clients off to someone else right off the bat, why would you hand off basically your brand and what you stand for in the marketplace? It doesn't make sense. So we teach agents how to build all of this out, how to be in control of it, then how to train someone on their team to handle it and manage it after a certain point, and how to make sure that it's always in alignment and it's always like your message, because messaging shifts. COVID was the perfect example of that, right? At the beginning of COVID, everybody's messaging had to pivot, and it had to pivot fast. And the people who were relying on, companies and things like that to try to market for them, none of that messaging pivoted, and people's businesses dropped it, like the floor dropped out under them. But the people who were truly able to pivot quickly, then they were able to make adjustments to their messaging, make sure that it was still resonating, making sure that that inbound business was still coming in, because they have that skill set.
So tell me, complete this sentence. The listing lab is
a marketing and mentorship program to help realtors scale from 6 to 7 figures.
Okay. And then tell me, what would be a typical budget for, somebody that wanted to come work with you?
So, it really depends on it depends on the company, and it depends on the goal, right? So, what we always do is we test everything organically first. So we're going to test all of your messaging, all of the content, all of the stuff that we would use from a retargeting, nurturing standpoint organically. So you should be able to pull 3 to 4 deals a month extra just from organic. So just starting out, right? And that will scale. We've got people doing 10 to 15 a month, just organically. Once all of that is proven, then you throw some money behind it, right? And that will depend on market, and it'll depend on where what the goals are. If you want to do 100 deals, you're going to have a bigger budget than someone who wants to do 50 deals.
Yeah.
Right. So it really becomes about, are you the deals the new deals that are coming in, how are you segmenting that income or that revenue to reinvest back into ad spend? And I think that so many people make the mistake of I'm going to boost posts and throw a bunch of money at the wall and hope that something comes back from it. Whereas, we want to actually take a systematic approach to, okay, what's the ROI? What are you spending? What are you earning back from that spend? Is it consistent? And kind of scale up from there.
I love it. Awesome. Actually, the truth is exactly what everybody should be doing. It doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent or not, but you just have your niche you work with.
That's just what I know, and it's who I serve, for sure.
Yeah. I love that. So in terms of like scaling up, and I was going to ask you another thing about, so do y'all focus on like Facebook ads or YouTube ads or Google ads, or what are y'all focusing on?
So it's really like the platform, the methodology is kind of like the cornerstone to it. And it doesn't, like the psychology, it doesn't really matter what platform you're on, as long as you understand how to use the platform. Facebook, for the most part, is going to be your cheapest option, and it's going to be the easiest from a relationship building standpoint. What we tend to do is, depending on the demographic that you're wanting to attract, we go where those people live. Right. Mm-hmm. So as an example, if you are in New York City and you want to do corporate women in New York, LinkedIn might be a really good place for you. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's not really about what platform does the agent like, which is the way that most people make decisions. It's not about you. It's really about, the people that you're wanting to attract, the people that you're wanting to work with, where do they spend their time online, and then going there.
Mm-hmm. I love it too. And then in terms of like scaling up, like kind of how does that work? Like how do you help businesses to scale up?
So we have another program called the 7-Figure Agent. We always run people through the Listings Lab first. But the 7-Figure Agent program is really geared towards leverage, team and hiring. It's the idea of how do we double or triple your business, get you to that 7-figure mark plus, but also cut back the amount that you're working by 50%. So the idea behind it, like I'll give Heather, for instance, she's someone who's in our program. At the beginning of the year, she didn't even realize how quickly she could grow if she actually was just leveraged properly. Mm-hmm. So she made $150 million volume goal at the beginning of the year. She hit it in July. Right. So she's going to double what her initial goal was. She should end up around 250 or 300 million this year. But the only reason why she's capable of doing that is because her marketing is dialed in and she has a consistent flow of clients. Her team is completely dialed in. They have really great systems and automation. There's standard operating procedures for every situation. Her phone is not ringing off the hook from her team asking what to do or how to do something, because they all have specific instruction. And like, really, like there's days that she'll say, I don't know what I'm to do with myself. And I'm like, well, this is where you get to have hobbies. Right? Just because you're successful doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your life. So she spends more time with her daughter. She's been going to the cottage more. And now she and I are actually working on another project for her to, build out a program for brand new agents, because she has this extra time. And so now she's realizing that, oh my gosh, I was doing a tiny fraction of the business that I'm doing now, but I was working 24 hours a day and I was burnt out all the time. And I think what happens is this fear sets in of, I don't want to grow because I can't work anymore, when it's actually the opposite. The more you grow, the more you leverage, the more you scale, the less you work.
That's so true. I know. That's why we live in an RV and travel.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's really weird because I'm sitting here like, I really work 2 days a week, and I'm thinking like the rest of the days, I always think like, I feel so bad. My team is like working and I'm just like traveling around all the time, but isn't that awesome?
Hey, it's the way that it should be.
That's the way it should be. I'm in the beginning. So, I was going to ask something else. What was it? Oh my gosh, I had something to slip my mind. I can't remember what it was. Well, tell everybody, if I come up with it in just a second, I'll ask, but tell everybody like how they can get a hold of you. Yeah. Like how can they contact you and stuff like that?
So I think Instagram is probably one of the easiest ways to find me. My handle on Instagram is just at Jess Lenouvel, Lenouv as in Victor EL. Mm-hmm. And I post on stories every day. You'll get a bit, you'll get to follow along with the move to the Bahamas. But yeah, we do. I do a lot of content on there. We're launching our YouTube channel next week, but because I've never really needed YouTube, right? I'm a really big believer in like do a couple of platforms really well before you try to do everything. Mm-hmm. So I have a team member on my team who I film the content and he makes it work. So yeah, Instagram's probably the best and easiest way to find me. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah. That's it.
Okay. So follow Jess, make sure you follow her, especially if you're a real estate agent. And, that's what I was going to ask. Who is your ideal client?
So I would say someone who is service oriented, who actually cares about their clients, because not every agent does. But someone who, is driven, is either at 6 figures or above or close to, and really understands that it doesn't have to be hard and you don't have to rely on your friends and family for business to get to that 7-figure mark. And they want just basically someone who wants to move fast.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Good. Okay. Good. Well, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for introducing us. And then everybody, you guys, thanks for listening. And I will see you guys at the next training session. Please don't forget to check out RentRedi. RentRedi is a property management software as well too. And they're the sponsor of this video. All right. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you.
Okay.